Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Movers and Shakers in Paarl. Today again probably I have someone that doesn't really need introduction in the Paarl community. His name is Willcock. Lee is the owner of Joosa. He also has a production company, Jirah, and also fruit fusion. So I just asked him if I can't just have a few words with him. He's a very busy man. Let's get to it. Lee, thanks so much.
Fantastic, Miles. Thanks for having me. It's great to be. It's an honor, man. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man. Lee, quickly, you're a very busy man, but where do you get all the time? Right?
I think I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. But the more I do, I seem to find the time somehow. But yeah, it's a hustle and it's busy, but it's enjoyable. I think as long as you're enjoying it, then you find the time, you make the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, every minute I enjoy every minute.
Because I find it intriguing. Like all the people I've interviewed, all the movers and shakers, all of them are busy, and I think it's because they're following their passion. Or they have their own business. Like before this, I get home and by 8 o'clock I've got nothing to do, and what I understand is you guys are busy after 8. That's your busiest time.
Yeah. I think it's trying to manage. I think it's taught me a lot to manage my time. Sometimes I still don't do it 100% right. But, you find the time, and once I think the more you're doing it, the better you get at it, and you find that things go quicker. To do certain things. I think you got to enjoy it. You got to have a passion.
Yeah, true. Okay, quickly. So born and bred Paarl.
Born and bred Paarl.
Boys primary and boys high.
Both.
Cool. And then you after matric. What happened after matric?
After matric, and I think this must be a message for anyone out there.
Yeah.
After matric or in matric, I had friends saying, I'm going to study law, I'm going to become a mechanic, I'm going to go into sports science. And I sat there thinking, I just want to finish this and get it done. I had no idea what I was going to do. I picked the easy subject at school. I just wanted to go through it.
Yeah.
And when I left school, I wasn't sure what I was going to do at all. I was at home, literally my dad saying, get a trade, being from the UK originally, get a trade. And they didn't have the money to send me for studies, so I couldn't apply for anywhere. They didn't have the funding. My scores at school weren't high enough to get a bursary anyway. So I literally started, got a job in a printing company.
Okay.
And I had art at school, so I thought I wanted to do printing. So I started at a printing company, Flexo Printing, in Paarl locally. I did it for about a year, and then I was close to what they call TT1, TT2.
Okay.
And it's basically 2 practicals, and I was getting close to the finishing this thing, and the guys who were just ahead of me were starting to buy cars, and they've qualified as a printer, and they go from earning very little to like a lot.
Yeah.
So I thought I just want to hold on till here. And I remember being on a Friday night working, and my mates are all calling me. They're out at this club and this pub, and I'm thinking, I'm 20, and my friends having fun. And then it hit me. One day I want a family. One day I want to live, and I want to enjoy what I'm doing, and I don't enjoy this. And this was like 2 o'clock on a Saturday morning, Friday night, printing a Marvello butter wrap, and I thought, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And the Monday morning I went in and resigned, and I said, I don't know what I want to do, but I'm going to pack it up. I can't do this. And I'm worse at telling my dad, and he was like, what are you doing? And go back and tell you on the job, and I just couldn't do it, It just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with being a printer by all means. I mean, a lot of my friends are still doing it, they enjoy it. I just felt there's more for me, I just don't enjoy this, And then I literally stayed at home for a while. I was building cupboards for people because they would work at school, and I was a lost soul thinking, what am I doing with my life? But I let it affect me for a while, and I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do. I literally started packing pallets at a juice company in Wellington.
Wow.
And because I never sit still, I was intrigued by the lab down the hallway and started asking too many questions. And not long after that, I was involved in the quality department and at the lab, and then things just evolved from there to where I am today.
Okay, so the company you're working for, the company you have now is the company you work for?
No, what I did was I was at a juice company before.
Yeah.
I was there for, like I said, packed pallets for like 6 months. They made me then machine operator for another 6 months.
Yeah.
After that, to check it on a bit more, about 4 or 5 years later, I found myself head of lab.
Okay.
And then I studied packaging technology through that time, through Cape Tech.
Nice.
And then I went back into the printing. And I enjoyed it, it was good, but I missed the beverage and the juice industry too much. And I did it for a year, and then I went back to a flavor company, did it for 2 years.
Okay.
And I had this bean in my bonnet one day in Franschhoek. I'd finished all my meetings, went for a coffee, and I had this thing, I've got to do my own stuff.
Okay.
And I remember at the time my wife was pregnant with the first one, the first child, and it was not a good time to. There's never a good time.
Yeah,
I always
100%.
say, and I'll go home and tell I'm gonna start my own business, and not knowing I've got one client, I haven't got a delivery vehicle, got nothing.
Yeah.
But something just told me that I've got to do this, you know. And it wasn't easy, but I started Fruit Fusion in 2007.
Okay.
And it's 11 years ago now.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Nice.
it's how I got here today. It's just, I could never plotted this out.
Yeah.
Being the guy eating masamis at a lunch break thinking,
Yeah.
why am I packing pallets, you know.
Yeah.
And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everyone's got their place and everyone's got their job that they do. And without them, we wouldn't have things in the stores or whatever today.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, if you've got a dream, I think you must just follow it. And at the time, I didn't know what the dream was. I just wanted bigger for my life. And I'm blessed, you know.
Yeah. You started Fruit Fusion. Biggest challenge?
Do you know, 2007, biggest challenge at that time, obviously, I had no real funding. So everything was done organic.
Okay.
So the biggest challenge was using the very little cash flow that I had and how can I make this grow organically but quick enough to sustain my life, provide for my family, but at the same time grow, you know. And in that time as well, bad debts, you know, in other words, you take on a client because you want the business so badly. And I think that was the biggest challenge. You wouldn't say no to anything, but it's also not a good deal, you know, and the client doesn't pay, or and then you got to take that knock. So that was a challenge in the beginning. But I think I needed those challenges and to overcome them to take on the bigger ones that come, you know. And I think it was just starting it. It was just making that call of doing it. And let me tell you, if I know what I know now, I probably wouldn't have taken that faith step. Only because a lot of challenges came along the way. So, you know, sometimes you've got to go with our eyes closed and just believe it's going to happen. Then analyze too much about what if. And I am that sort of person. I'll get into something, and once I'm going, then I think, sure, you know. So it's that sort of thing.
So while you were starting this business, did you have like someone that assisted you for this, or was everything you just did yourself?
No, look, well, I had the expertise, obviously, being in the industry for like 7 years with the flavor and the juice. So I knew the industry. I knew how it worked. I had the background. I also learned the school of skills. I always believe no one can ever say they're unqualified for me. I don't believe in unqualified people. And obviously, if you need to be a doctor, you have to be qualified. But there's certain trades in life and certain things in life, I believe, the school of skills. That's how I've learned. So I had to learn by asking questions. I had to learn by making mistakes. So I had to do those sort of things. So I think those things taught me a lot. And I learned from I didn't like to see it as a mistake or something that I'd done wrong. I wanted to see it as a lesson. So I wanted to learn, what did I do wrong here and how do I not do it again? But yes, I had mentors, you know. I had guys that owned companies that I would phone up and say, listen, I want to do this, and they 20, 30 years older than me. So they've made those mistakes. So rather than me make it again, let me rather swallow my pride, humble myself. I don't know what I'm doing here. I haven't done this. So I believe you've got to be able to humble yourself and ask the questions. You know, there's people that do want to help.
True.
And I had that, thankfully. I had the right people in my life.
Awesome.
So I was blessed with that.
I got this thing I called like my favorite failure. So it's like the one thing that I failed at, but I've learned my best lessons.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite failure?
Sure. It's a good question. There's probably times you could have asked me this question and I would have had it like spot on. There's probably quite a couple of them. But I think the favorite failure would to never really put your faith and trust in man. So in sense, yes, people will mentor you, they will help you, and I'm not contradicting what I'm saying, but you've got to believe in yourself and don't rely on that guy's going to call me tomorrow and then it's going to happen. You've got to hustle, you've got to make it happen. And I think my favorite failure was the times that I rested on my laurels to that guy will call me. And the call never came.
Depending on someone else.
On someone else. And I think if you want to make it work, you've got to make it work. You know, you can't just sit back and wait for something to happen. And I think that would have been in the beginning. I would say, I've got this deal, man. This guy's going to take this from me, that, and it doesn't come through. And if you don't really pursue it, I just believe in that. You know, that was probably my favorite failure, is to put a little bit too much trust in man, and then, you know, or give a deal. No, take the stock. You know, pay me in 2 weeks' time, and it doesn't come. In 2 weeks is 2 months. So I think that was I learned the hard way.
Like they say, humans never disappoint, eh?
Absolutely.
Okay, so explain to me, Fruit Fusion started in 2007, you said?
2007 Fruit Fusion.
Yeah. So what? And Joosa, is that part of?
Joosa is that was an interesting one. So Fruit Fusion's 2007 started up. I'm still in the same premises. Just to give you an idea, Fruit Fusion started as a flavor company. So we're a flavor manufacturer.
Oh, okay.
So it's different to Joosa. What we do with Fruit Fusion is I've got guys coming to, for example, I've got guys that's doing, I won't give brand names, but the products we do are anything from flavored alcohol, so flavored vodkas, electronic cigarettes, I'm naming all the bad stuff, ice popsicles, 100% fruit juices, ice creams, flavored water syrups, anything on those lines. We create it and we sell it. So we make the client's life easier. We sell him all the components to make that sort of stuff. Flavored chocolates, any sort of thing. Then to divert from that, World Cup came in 2010, and I thought, what can I add on to the public? What can I do? Because I can't sell from Fruit Fusion to the public because it's so concentrated. 1 gram of flavor gives you, a litre of flavored product. So I can't sell direct to public, it's to manufacturers. So what can I do with direct to public? And because obviously of my history in the juice, I thought, let me start a juice line. And I remember starting with a fridge that we had to keep starting on and off because it kept backing up. And we had a single little door fridge, and I said I'm going to start with apple flavour. And we made this apple flavour, and I still sent my guys, just walk around and get people's feel of what they and take we call it organoleptic form, and what do they think of this juice. And it evolved and it changed. We did the apple, and then I'll never forget, I didn't do anything in Paarl Post, nothing, it's just word of mouth. And I put a little sign up saying, I didn't have a name, Juice Sales, I had no name. And for the first 2010, 2011, we had a white label just saying apple juice, the ingredients, the address, that's it. And then people start walking the door, I'm like, are you here for juice? And I'm like, yes. I'm like, what? Like, so excited. People are, and the word spread. Then people started coming in, when are you doing a mango orange? I'll do it. So we did mango orange. Now we're sitting with, I think we're on 7 flavors now. As the people ask, we're on 8th one now coming. So as the people ask, we get the next one. And we've evolved that to full-on branding. My daughter used to say, Dad, bring home some of your Joosa. I thought that's the name. So we registered it, and we're South African brand now, and it's Joosa. And she actually came up with the name. And we put Joosa on the bottles, got the logo sorted, got the colours. And then it just grew, and from there we created the brand, created the flavours. And we sold to public, and it's become a household brand to many pilots.
It's a Paarl brand.
It's a Paarl brand.
Wow,
Proudly Paarl.
Proudly Paarl.
There we go.
Okay, so coming closer to the time, so you have your fruit. I want you to speak about Jirah Productions. When did that start? Did you also Friday evening saying, I don't want to do juice anymore, I want to do music?
You know what, it's funny, because I always believe you got those sort of things where you I don't know, I'm a guy, I don't like to sit still. I'm afraid of my dad, he's in his late 70s, but he can't sit still. You'll phone him, what you do? I'm in the garden, or I'm walking the dog, and that's me. So if I'm not playing football with the kids, or taking my daughter for a walk, whatever it is, or spending time with the family at home, then I find myself like I can't sit still, So I try and fill every minute of the day, as we were saying earlier. But I think what basically happened there was it was an opportunity that just came along, and some guy once said to me, I don't know, it's a bit of a prophetic thing, but when you're this age, something's going to come along and it's going to be this business, but don't look for it, it's going to come for you. And I thought, right, whatever. And I was doing the juice, I still love the juice industry. I'm blessed to love all the areas of my life that I do. I'm very lucky with that. But the juice and the flavour things were going, we've created employment for people. In fact, the people that were with me are the people that were there from the start, they're still with me. So it's a lovely, we're a family, I always try to keep that culture that it's not become too corporate, it's family. So what happened was, the flavours are going on, the juice is going on, and it's sort of sustaining itself nicely. And I like to uplift. I don't like to dictate. I like to do an uplifting way of management. So everyone owns, they all buy into what we do. So that was all going nicely. And then I got this call where Jirah didn't come into play immediately. I was first involved with another company that approached me and said, look, we need to get this artist overseas for a recording. And it's a place called Karma Studios, which, when I looked into it, I can't be. I mean, this place just had Beyonce there 2 weeks ago, Eminem 3 weeks ago. So I'm thinking, what is this call about? Anyway, so I got involved with this. It was a blessing. I said, look, I'll bless this opportunity for this person to go overseas. And no one mentions my name. That's it. And 2 days later, check out Facebook, what's going on. And subsidiary Lee Willcock pays as a sponsor. I'm like, oh no. What? So it wasn't supposed to leak out, and that wasn't the plan. And then when the artist came back from Thailand, they wanted to see me and asked, can I get involved just with the management side? My first answer was, dude, I don't have time for this. I still remember meeting him out at Paddocks, and I'm like, I don't have time for this. Thanks, but no thanks. But he was eating away at me, like, what is this about? And I got involved with this company for a bit, and I was there for about 6 months. And I found, I was just freelancing, so I wasn't part of the company. But there's a lot of things happening which I didn't agree with, you know, a lot of empty promises which I don't do. I'd rather have something set in stone before I even mention a little bit to you. So it was just the opposite way of doing things, and I didn't enjoy it, and I said, look, I walked away from it. And at this point I was convicted, you know, I was like, I want to still do this. Something inside, I've not finished here. And I got this thing of Jirah Productions, and artist Amy Jones, who is still with me today, my only artist that I have, and that's the plan. Is she said, look, now you've left the management company, what about me? You know, what now? I can't, you know, things are starting to happen. And at that point, nothing was happening for her. It was just, she'd come out of idols. It was a thing of silence, you know, 3 years, where's Amy Jones been? And they had a funny style where they wanted to hide her and just all of a sudden launch this girl. But we've learned now that it doesn't work. Life, you all know, life doesn't work that way. So Jirah Production started with Jehovah Jireh, Lord our provider, because I had no provision for this industry. So it was literally a thing of sitting there, and we came up with this thing like, okay, Amy's like, I'm leaving the management company and my contract's finished. Let's start something, bro. And I tell you what, it was like the juice industry all over again. It was like Fruit Fusion all over again. I sat there with a laptop with nothing on it, thinking, what? I can't do any worse than where I'm at. You know? And I was like, what am I going to do here? And it was hectic, but I've loved every single second of this journey. And it's I literally started by Googling the phone number for Good FM, Googling Smile FM, and that's how it started. But I must say, we registered this company, Jirah Productions. I then went with this artist. I said, Amy Jones, put your guitar in the car, we're going to see someone. And we literally went out, and I started sort of fundraising, but looking for people to buy in alongside me. And that's where we got certain brands like La Vie de Look straight away jumped on the bandwagon and said, look, we definitely want to be part of this from the start. They're still with us today. So it's fantastic. They heard us sing in the office one Friday afternoon, and they said, right, we'll get this thing on the roll to get her into studio, to get her recording. So the last time she was in Thailand, and then she came back and never recorded in South Africa. So I then started searching again, hustling, you know, producers and artists and all sorts of stuff. And just one thing hand in hand just started working. And how I sit here today and finding out that Amy Jones, the artist that I manage, we've shared a green room with J something Mikasa in a year's time. And
what? That's insane.
Yeah, I don't even know how. It's just been, it's only God. I mean, it's been a blessing. I don't know how. I don't know the industry, so I always believe that I'm humble, I hustle, but at the same time, I'm always willing to learn, and I'll sit and listen for a long while, and I'll, you know, my dad always used to say, Lee, when you're sitting there, don't just veg, always like steal with your eyes, always listen, always be alert, and then apply it to your life. So that's what I've done, you know, and we've seen this girl go from, like, this Jirah Productions itself is just a management company for her, and what we do at Jirah Productions is it's a management of Amy Jones, it's to grow her career, and at the same time, you know, we developing her, but we're doing our own events as well for Amy, obviously, but we put her alongside others. So the dream is to set up another thing with Amy Jones, another, let's say, band where it's just musical and there's no vocalists, and then maybe a big vocalist. So we're trying to network all those things. But in time, you know, I don't know where it's going to go, and I maybe shouldn't say it, but I would love to 10 years from now, you know, seek talent and make that the vision. And not just keep it to you know, find a footballer in a township that needs a contract in the UK or you know, at PSL level, but at that stage you rub shoulders with the right people 100%. That you've got those contracts. 100%. So it's the so back, you know, and I think the joy for me it's been a joy that I can see the happiness in someone else's face that they've achieved something. You know, I've enjoyed it. It's been a good journey, and they all sort of knit together. Like, you know, you'll have someone, Jirah Productions doing an event, but one of my clients at Fruit Fusion wants exposure on his product, so he'll, like an energy drink we had sponsored one of the events, and they got full exposure. So we try and do hand-in-hand stuff, you know? But it works. It's just how you.
And I mean, I think one of the questions I wanted to ask is, what's your passion? But clearly, it's upliftment. That's probably yours. Yeah,
for sure. I think it's for myself. You know, I come from a family that we didn't have much. You know, I come from family of 6 kids, so I was the last one. So the hand-me-downs, where the shoes that this will do for another week or so. But so the hand-me-downs I know too well, you know. So I like to uplift others. I like to see, you know. For me, I've always enjoyed giving more than getting. You know? It's your birthday. What do you want, bro? Just be there. You know? So it's for me. It's always nice to give, and I enjoy that. And that's been my major passion.
Tell me something. So you're very busy. Do you have a daily routine? Do you have a routine that you try and stick to to make your day, like when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do?
Yeah.
Is Amy Jones still alive?
Yeah, he's still there. What's
Yes,
happening,
I
you know? So yeah, I know it is. It's I think I'm a very sort of, I'm like an OCD kind of person.
Okay,
So I'm
cool.
one of those structured guys.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So my shirt's hanging at the top and my pants are below, that sort of thing. So it's like I'm very structured.
Colours together.
That's it, bro. That's exactly right.
Exactly
So
the same.
yeah, you got the same. So there you go. The fridge. This is all there. So you can see when I've been on a business trip for a week and the kids have been in the fridge. You know. It's like, so I am very structured in that way, but I try not to be too structured because I've got to leave that space for,
Yeah, 100%.
you know. So yes, I do have a routine. It's up in the morning and it's the first thing I do. It's breakfast for the kids and it's, and before you know it, it's in the car and I do the school run. So I drop the kids off at school and we have a chat in the morning. So it's really structured. It's nice. I enjoy it. And anything after that, you know, once I've dropped them off at school, then my day is my day. So I'll get to work. The nice thing about Fruit Fusion, Joosa, even Jirah more so, is that you know almost what your day is going to be, but every day is a new day. So I don't know, like on the way here, like I was saying, I got a couple of phone calls that's to do with Jirah Productions, which I never knew this breakthrough would come. So you're uplifted, you're happy, you're excited. So each day is like that. You know, my guys will come running in lead. The samples we sent out last week to so and so, they've placed their first order. So each day is new. It's fun, you know. So yes, there's a routine, there's a structure. I think I've had to become more structured now that I can balance things. You know, where I would travel quite a lot for Fruit Fusion Joosa, but I travel more so now with Jirah. But I try and make my trips that I'm not Joburg this week for Jirah, the next week I've got to go again. So I try and do the two in 2 in 1. Maybe stay 3 or 4 days longer. But I do this one, then I'm going from a Jirah meeting and I'm taking off that cap and putting on a Fruit Fusion. So yeah, that's basically the routine, and I just make sure that all the necessities are in place. You know, my staff are happy at Fruit Fusion, things are happening. I haven't forgotten to do this there, that they're waiting on me. But they're very self-managed.
I'm just curious, like you're so busy, but how do you get that balance? I mean, you've got family also that they have the needs, you've got the business, and you've got, because I mean, of course, AB's the production company is a weekend thing.
Yes, very much so. You know, that's more after hour stuff.
Okay,
you know?
okay.
In the day as well, like it's actually got me out more. So I'd find myself, look, I've learned a lot. You know, winter months when the rain's pelting down and your juice guys aren't running, your ice popsicles standing still. I would find myself stuck in my office, blinds closed, and I'm stressing and trying to find business. Whereas now with this whole journey with Jirah, Amy will be doing a single, for example. So it's Amy off to producer. We lay out the foundation of the song. Then I find myself on the laptop. I'm working from the studio. She's recording, gets me out. Or I'm dropping off. I'm going to see more clients, and it's got me more business on my other side of the business as well. So yes, it has to be structured. But yeah, I think it's managing the time. Also, now that I've been doing Jirah for about 1.5 years, I know there's not the shortcuts, but I know what to avoid. It's going to waste my time. I know the time wasters. You know, even at Fruit Fusion, you have guys. They come and they'll give you a, lead develop this phrase, and you want to do it. You got the goodness, you want to, but you know it's not going to come to anything, or they just want to take your knowledge and then go and buy from somewhere else. And you can sort of suss that out. I think it's. I've been blessed to know the gut feel. I always follow. That's very strong to my gut feel, and so I think time management's been a big thing. But yeah, I've always managed to. I love to spend time with the kids, I've always made sure that's a priority for me. I've been blessed with the 2 kids, a boy and a girl, and I love what they do. My little boy starts soccer now this season, so it's to find the time for that as well. But that Saturday mornings I won't sacrifice, it's that thing will always be there.
2 highlights. One for Fruit Fusion. What is the highlight there? Was it that phone call that you got that you've been waiting for, not depending on humans? And highlight for Jirah Productions, what is that phone call or that thing that happened that said we are onto something?
Okay, I think for Fruit Fusion was 2007, sitting in my home and with a laptop with basically nothing on it, thinking, where am I going to go to from here? I think for me was when I got my premises. I wasn't working from home anymore. I actually got my premises. It was a blessing because it's moments I won't forget. So I think the important thing for me, Miles, was that we sometimes always chasing, I just want to make it to that financial year. And you forget the journey. You keep thinking of destination. But I've learned in these businesses that it's a journey, And I remember being with my dad in his 70s, helping me make my first batch myself. I would literally have, this would probably be the highlight, was I had overalls on, working in the factory. My dad's helping me.
Stunning.
And I've got a meeting in 10 minutes. So we finish the batch and it's overalls off, button shirt, but under this table, my dad's taking the gentleman in, under this table I've got my overalls on, I've got a button shirt on, having the meeting, get the business, and off he goes. And I think for me it was just that first breakthrough of that first order, and this guy is buying from Fruit Fusion, you know? Those are the things I won't forget. With Joosa, also again, seeing clientele at my door, I'm here to buy Joosa. Also, I think highlight is when I see kids at a restaurant drinking Joosa, or I think that's our handiwork. We made that happen. For Jirah Productions, the biggest highlight for me would probably be, well, there's a lot of highlights in that one, and I can't really single out one, but I think would be, I have to mention Mikasa, because I was a hustle. I remember going to an event, and Amy is the type of person, she'll say, and I'll look at her and think, are you serious? You want me to make this happen? And you know,
so she gives you the nudge.
She'll give me the nudge. So she'll tell me things, but you know, she'll say to me, for example, and this happened, and we'll be driving in Cape Town, and she says, you see that building in Media 24? It's a massive post. Electronic. I will be on that building before the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I look at it, I'm like, no pressure, you know, I'm gonna make it happen. But again, breakthrough. And in that season, what happened was, and then she said, I want to meet Jay something. I also want to meet this guy.
I also want to meet
he's fantastic. He's the most amazing man, I can tell you something. But I thought I just want to meet this guy. And I loved his music long before I got in the industry. And this was probably my biggest highlight, was at Media 24 building, we got involved in an event for Amy, where they said, we made friends with Media 24, a great partner for us, and they said, can Amy do a session here for us? And we're like, fantastic. We had people come in the room, some media and stuff. There was a big highlight, big breakthrough. And we were driving through Cape Town, not knowing at all. We were going to a meeting to meet Media 24 to just iron out the last things. And as we come to the circle, there's this massive electronic poster, Amy Jones.
Wow, insane.
And she's like,
I told you so.
Yeah, she's like, yeah. So it was a fantastic moment. There was a massive highlight. And from that, you know, 2 weeks later, Mikasa sang at Media 24, and lo and behold, we get a VIP invite.
What?
And I'm like, there's no way. Are we going to get to speak to him? We're going to get to meet him. And we did. And I was chatting, I'll never forget, I was chatting with the people from Media 24, and he was busy with interviews and stuff. So I'm like, who's this guy's manager? And he said, you won't believe it. He's just changed management. He's standing over there. And I don't even remember excusing myself. And I just went straight out hustle. I was straight there, and I'm like, listen, bro, whenever you have an event in Cape Town, here's my artist, Amy Jones. You got to use it. And the highlight for me was that these people, and I go against what I said earlier, because they are the exception to the rule, they kept their word. And I'll never forget, the highlight for me was sitting at Fruit Fusion. I had just finished my lunch, and I was getting some emails, and my phone rang, and there it was Jay's manager. Lee, we coming to Cape Town next month. We want Amy Jones. Like, so that was probably the biggest highlight of this industry so far. And once you get that, it just fuels this fire, and it burns, you know, and it's fantastic. So that would probably be the biggest highlight so far, and it just lays down more foundations, you know. So there's been highlights, and I think that's important for a journey. Set goals, set highlights. Otherwise, it becomes mundane, it becomes boring, you know. But it's been a blessed time for sure.
Where you mentioned 5 years time, what the dream is for Jirah. Where for Joosa and for Fruit Fusion 5 to 10 years time?
100%. For me, I would love to own our own premises for Fruit Fusion. The reason we haven't done it is we haven't found the right location. And also the right cost, you know, it's an expensive exercise. We're strong enough to do it now, it's just getting the right location. And we also don't want to be too far from where we're at. But we're so saturated where we are that no one's really selling, or there's nothing for sale. So to take Joosa and stick it out in Wellington, or stick it out in Klapmuts, it's going to take away from what Joosa is. You know, we're on the doorstep of our biggest clientele, so we would have to manage it correctly. So the dream for me in the next 5 years, I wanted to have it by now, but it hasn't happened, but is to have our own premises, is to grow the business a bit more in terms of staff, so we can sow even more into the community. And then for Joosa, you know, is just to maintain what we're doing, add more flavors to the range, maybe going to a few more outlets and things like that. And maybe, I don't know, maybe start a franchise of that. That you have someone doing it in Riversdale, or someone doing it in George, or, you know, but that's also going to be managed very carefully. But I think if we have the right structure and someone to man that, we can have satellites all over the place. So that would be the dream, I think, is just to grow on what we have. So we've set a very strong foundation organically, but it's to build correctly from that foundation.
Stunning. So lastly, I see you've got a lot of tattoos. If you had a billboard up, what would be on the billboard?
Sure.
Except Amy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Don't have to pay for that. I think, sure, on that billboard, I'd probably have. Well, I love the saying. It's like on my shirt actually, but it's from humble beginnings comes great things for sure. I think from a humble beginning definitely comes great things. That would probably be one of them.
And that's your story.
That is my story.
Yeah.
That would probably be it.
Okay.
If I had to add another one, I would steal away from that. So that would probably be it. Never. I think people must never think they're unqualified. They must never think that this is beyond me. If you go into something humbly, people will gravitate towards you. I've always found that. I don't know. I don't. It's never good for a humble person to say they're not vain, because then you see vain.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, I believe if you can just humble yourself and be true to yourself, but to others, people gravitate towards you, and they want to help you. They want to see you succeed. So yeah, absolutely. A humble beginning, you never know where it's going to go. You know? And yeah, that's what I can add. Yeah.
Lee, thanks so much for talking to me. I know you're a busy man, but thanks so much for taking
thanks
so
for
much
having me.
time.
It's fantastic. When I got the call, I was very honored.
Cool.
So yeah, fantastic.
Thanks,
Great
man.
things, my man. Keep it up.